If I were to mention dogs and the World Cup of 1966, you immediately think of Pickles. The black and white collie that found the World Cup trophy in Beulah Hill in Upper Norwood after it had been stolen at a stamp fair. But it wasn't the only dog-related story from the 66 World Cup.
Poor Pickles actually met untimely death only a year later when he was strangled by his own choke chain whilst chasing a cat.
Although Pickles was buried in his owner's back garden, the offending choke chain can be seen at the National Football Museum, in a macabre homage to the little dog that kept Jules Rimet gleaming. The trophy had been on display at the Sport with Stamps Stanley Gibbons Stampex Rare Stamp exhibition. At 12:10 in the afternoon, guards had noticed that the case that the trophy was on display in had been forced open and the trophy was gone. What ensued was 7 days of madness. Mysterious telephone calls were made to the Football Association. Threats of violence towards the trophy were made, ransom notes were sent, and even the lining of the top of the trophy was sent to Football Association Chairman Joe Mears' house to show the thief had the trophy and meant business. A mysterious man who called himself Jackson claimed to have made the ransom notes and threatened to melt down the trophy. A game of cat and mouse ensued, with various false claims by Jackson that he would give back the trophy. There were even coded messages placed in the Evening News giving instructions. This strange Jackson character turned out to be a petty criminal named Edward Betchley, but not before Pickles owner David Corbett became a suspect after the trophy was found. Betchley claimed that he was only the middleman for someone known only as the Pole and had been offered £500 for his part in the whole escapade. Betchley was eventually charged with breaking and entering and theft. David Corbett was invited to the players' celebrations after the final.
You want more 66 dog stories? Okay. France versus Uruguay was played at White City and not Wembley.
Okay, what's that got to do with dogs? Plenty. Wembley was the home of dog racing, and the owners of the stadium didn't want to give up their dog meat for the match. Understandably so. Dog racing was the bread and butter for Wembley. A handful of football matches at the stadium didn't really cover the costs, and dog races attracted big crowds, so the game was moved, and Uruguay beat France 2-1. This leads us nicely to the semi-final, and a game that shouldn't have been played at Wembley at all. Portugal had been based in Liverpool and had played group stage matches at Old Trafford in Manchester and Goodison Park in Liverpool. The Portuguese had come from 3-0 down to beat North Korea 5-3 at Everton's ground. England had played